exacto, sí, sí. No.
Si ves que no lo mencionara, lo mencionaré durante la cata o algo, pero bueno, la idea sería como presentación.
Sí, muy bien.
De la primera bodega que conocí, los Blanc.
Hey, good evening. So, we are here in Berlin, Prenzlauer Berg, WeinMaterial. You know that we are already open since October, time flies. And we are very happy in these special times to have this as a platform to share different concepts, different initiatives with all of you guys. And today we have something very, very special. Today we have the honor to have a friend, a special guest, who is Pablo. Most of you know Pablo, a Spanish guy from Granada. And Pablo, I would say he's a reference on the natural wine world in Spain. Very honestly, he was one of the first guys that he decided to actively promote natural wine. Starting in Spain, he had different initiatives in Barcelona, and then 7 years ago, Pablo is an entrepreneur. He moved to Berlin, and he founded something which I think it has been a reference for a number of years, Naturales WeinBar in Neukölln. For the ones that you had the pleasure to be there, it was a reference in terms of natural wine, in terms of music, in terms of atmosphere. So today is a pleasure to have you with us, Pablo, but we have a special reason why Pablo is with us. Today we have a new winemaker to introduce to all of you. I can tell you that even we are very proud and very happy to have an extensive portfolio of natural wine. We have asked sometimes to colleagues, to winemakers, do you think that there is somebody missing in our catalog? And most of them, they have said, yes, Carlos. It would be great if Barranco Oscuro will work together with FoodMaterial. So today is the day that we can present that to all of you. Barranco Oscuro is part of the FoodMaterial community. And which best way to introduce Barranco Oscuro today that have the guy who has been the ambassador of Barranco Oscuro for years. So I think that without Pablo, I would have not the chance to know Barranco Oscuro. This was like 3 years ago. Since then, I mean, I have loved his wine, but who better than Pablo to talk about Barranco Oscuro wine and to talk about many other things. Pablo, welcome, and thanks a lot to be here today.
Thank you for inviting me, and hello everyone. Yeah, I don't know if I would say ambassador, but yeah, the thing is I met Barranco Oscuro personally a few years ago. Since then, I'm in love with the wines, I'm in love with the winery, with the scenery, with everything, and yeah, so I've been working with them, and then I opened my natural wine bar 3 years ago in Berlin, and of course, Barranco Oscuro was like the wine of the house, like my favorite winery. And so I need to tell everyone how I tasted or had the pleasure to get to know Barranco Oscuro in the beginning, and that was 2008 when I was living in Barcelona. I was doing the sommelier course, and no one told us about natural wine, but I was always curious to try things that would make me feel something, new wines that would make me feel, because at some point, well, we're not going to talk about conventional now, but I went to a little wine fair in Barcelona, and then I saw a stand, Barranco Oscuro Granada. So I went directly to them. I was like, okay, I need to try this. Like, they are from Granada. And so I met them, they were super nice, and the first wine I tried, it was a white wine, the house white wine from Barranco Oscuro, and my first impression when I tried it, it was like, what the fuck? What is this? I was like, wow, this is wine. Oh. And of course they were like, yeah, sure, it's wine. And that was my first natural wine in my life. I will always remember. Super. And since then, I've been working with Barranco Oscuro in wine shops, in restaurant, hotel. Then I moved to Berlin 7 years ago, and to make like an adventure, to make private wine tastings. And Barranco Oscuro was always part of them. It's been always part of my life, and nothing that I planned, but years were passing by and Barranco Oscuro was always there with me, and then I managed to open my dream, my wine bar, that at the moment physically is closed due to different circumstances, but Barranco Oscuro was like one of my favorite wineries in Naturales. So I'm here, like now you are the host of Barranco Oscuro in Berlin, and it's my pleasure that I could choose 3 of the selection of Carlos wines here in Berlin, and we'll have the pleasure to try them together and talk a little bit about them. I love them. Just so let's try.
Super, perfect.
I'll be the one making the honor to open them.
Super.
We'll start with the white.
Yeah.
As usual, I need to check how much sedimentation it has because it's one of my pleasures also. And you can see it's unfiltered, the way it should be. So I always like to shake them a little bit. This is politically not correct, but I don't like protocols. So in Naturales, I was always like, shake it, shake it. I mean, when it's a very old wine, you need to be more careful. But with these kind of wines, I was like, guys, you need to make it homogeneous and nice. And now it's ready to be opened. So Tres Uves, it's one of the best natural white wines I've tried in my life. There's only, I think, like 900 bottles of this wine. And of course, it comes from Barranco Oscuro, that it's in the mountains in Granada, Alpujarras, and this is more like 1,300 meters high. Yeah. It's one of the highest wineries in Europe. That makes the wines, of course, more special and unique.
Yeah. I mean, the nice thing of Granada is that you have these mountains. You have Mulhacén, 3,500 meters, and you have the Mediterranean Sea very close. So it's a nice combination of
I mean,
sea and
even the cork. This is what we're gonna smell. It's amazing.
Wow. My God, that's an explosion of tastes. Thank you, Pablo.
The name of Tres Uves. It's made of 3 different white grapes. Vigiriega, which is a local grape from Granada, Viognier, and Vermentino. So it's a blend of 3 different white grapes, and the vintage is 2017 now, which is not easy to find, like it's already 4 years old.
Wow.
And it has a few months aged in big barrels. Okay. But it's not the main influence. Let's just smell it.
So yeah.
This is
it's
always, there's an imprint. If you do a blind tasting and you smell this, you know it's Barranco Oscuro. Of course, it's just open, but we like to taste the moment you open it and see how it develops.
Oh my God.
But this, of course, kind of little yeasty aftertaste in the nose, it's something that I really love in natural wine. It's a sign for me that, okay, this is very, very artisanal and very special.
Yeah, it's an explosion of aromas. It's wow.
Little nail polish sometimes that it open up and it will disappear. But I need to taste. It's been a while since I'm not drinking, so this is also a pleasure for me. Because sadly, I don't have almost more wine from Barranco Oscuro, so I'm so happy that we can taste today Tres Uves. Just like.
Yeah, my God.
I love it.
My God. And you have all the aromaticity.
It's so white. It's so full. It's so tasty. So many layers. You only want to drink more and more and more and more. It's dangerous. It's
yeah, it's curious because Viognier is a grape that practically in Spain we don't work with Viognier, but Viognier is giving this fruity aromaticity, which is it's explosive. But you're right. I mean, it's very good balance with the other taste. It's super.
Everything. Alcohol is. I mean, it's 13% alcohol, but still you don't feel it on top of anything. Everything is well balanced. But also, it's for me, it's crazy how it fills up your mouth with so many flavors, and the aftertaste is so long. And I just give it a little try, and it was the first try in the day of wine, and it's like.
It's very special wine.
This wine also something you can drink. I love to drink it alone, without anything, because you can drink the whole bottle, talking and enjoy, and it keeps changing and opening up. But of course, it's so complex that you can pair it with food.
Yeah, this was a question I had. I mean, when you are drinking this wine, where you go? Where do you see yourself? Now, with what would you combine? So, in which situation you see? Because it's quite special. Eh?
I don't have rules about pairing food. I always tell people, think of something you like food or meat or fish or charcuterie, cheese, anything, and then try the wine. And if your mouth is salivating and you smile and you think like, oh wow, I want to try this with this, then it's a good match. It doesn't matter it's fish with red wine or meat with white wine, because there's no rules anymore. And I'm a really big fan of strong and deep, complex white wines. So it's something that you can pair with fish, meat, cheese, charcuterie, with a lot of things. And also it has it's quite powerful. Yeah, absolutely. So you also need some kind of food that it's on the same level, and
so this needs to be good food, I would say, with this such a good wine.
Yeah. Or no food. No food. We need to taste the three of them, but we can drink the whole bottle if we want.
Very good, very good.
Okay.
So this is just the first step, huh? I think it's a pity, not drinking this wine.
Let's move to the second one. So tonight we are tasting white, rosé, and red. So obviously the second one is rosé and Vino Costa.
Vino Costa.
I remember I was telling you, if I can say, get Vino Costa. You need to have Vino Costa in your catalog. Why Vino Costa? It's something very special, also very limited. There's only 700 or 900 bottles. This one is the new vintage, 2018, and I have to say I haven't tried it yet, but this is part of the game. That I don't know what I'm gonna find. I know the wine, and I loved all the vintages I've tried before, and it was really, really popular in Naturales.
And I need to thank to you, Pablo, and I need to thank also to the winemaker, to Barranco Oscuro, that they have been able to supply a certain varieties that they had really few boxes, but thanks to the job that you have been doing these last years, so we are lucky to have few bottles of Vino Costa today with us.
Yeah, and you have to keep me a few.
Yes.
So Vino Costa, it's a blend of 3-4 different red grapes and 2 white grapes, and it's being aged a little bit in big barrels, but as a good rosé, the main thing is the fruitiness. Let's taste. And Vino Costa is also the name given because it was Vino Costa was a wine from the coast in Granada. What fishers and then fishermen, they were drinking after work. It was like the house wine of every little bar. Nice. Vino Costa, that's why they gave the name to it.
Nice.
Coming from the mountains, and it was very, very funky. All the vintages I've tried. So for me, the rosés from Barranco Oscuro, they always have an imprint, like a really special character. They are unique, and I cannot talk more. I need to smell.
Wow.
You can already feel the power. I also like rosés to be kind of intense, not too, but I like a rosé to have a body and
like fruit explosion, the yeast. I mean, you can already taste the yeast at the end of the wine. It's so nice.
Wow, I'm happy I can try Vino Costa.
It's a pleasure, Pablo. It's a pleasure.
Wow.
Very versatile. Yeah, very versatile. I mean, I would say it's first you have a very nice acidity fruit, but it's long.
It's changed. Like it happens with natural wine.
Yeah, it's,
every vintage is different. You never know what's going to happen in the next year. So this one, I have to say, it's drier.
Yeah.
So most of the people will be happy because vintages before it has some little residual sugar. And my beautiful customers from Naturales, they were like, oh, it's a little bit sweet. I was like, yeah, but give it a chance. It has something else. Then they keep trying, and then they feel the aftertaste and the yeast and the fruitiness and the complexity. And then they will give a second sip and a third sip, and they're like, oh wow, yeah, we love it. And then they will come the week after, and they will order more Vino Costa and more Vino Costa, and they became really like big fans of this rosé.
Anyway, yes, it's dry, but it's not plain. So you have I think an acidity. The first step is the acidity is very present, but then all the fruit and the yeast comes at the end. So it's not at all.
No, it's also a rosé with a long life.
Absolutely.
Like all the wines from Barranco Oscuro. The older they get, I mean, it's ready to be drunk, but this is a bottle also to keep in for years.
Nice. And this is the one that you say that the fishermen, the guys in the coast, they were drinking after fish. Huh?
Yeah, like the Vino Costa for everyone.
Yeah, but that's the nice thing of Granada. You are in the mountains, you are at 3,000 meters, and you have the beaches of the Mediterranean close. It's a very special place. Huh?
And of course, I love the label. I keep telling people, don't buy wine because of the label. But I have to say that all labels from Barranco Oscuro, I like them.
Es el auténtico y genuino Vino Costa, the unique. Very nice, Pablo. Really.
It's pretty deep, intense,
to
long.
The point. It's very, very long. So, and it's funny because you have like different stages. So I said, so you have something acidic, fruity, but it's long, and the yeast comes really at the end.
Same as Tres Uves, it's a wine that you can perfectly pair with food because it has a body, it has a really strong presence.
Very nice, very nice. Do you think that we are prepared to go to the red?
Yeah, slowly, with some water. But
nice. So I would say that Barranco, it's difficult to say if the whites, the rosés, or the Barranco Oscuro which one are the reference, but I think that Barranco Oscuro has a very nice.
Yes, it has a huge variety, like very small quantities of each wine. But I was always impressed by the quantity of wines they have. Like, I don't know, just saying 7, 8, 10 different white wines, 2, 3 different rosés, 8 different reds. They make sparkling wine, they make sweet wine. It's like, guys, you do everything. And you do it so nicely. Like, how can you?
Exactly.
I've been a few times in Barranco Oscuro, of course. Every time I was visiting Granada, because I lived in Barcelona 7 years in Berlin. But every time I was in Granada, I was always like, can I visit you guys? Also to see Manuel, because Manuel, the fundator of Barranco Oscuro, for me, he's one of the wisest men on earth, not only about natural wine, but himself is like anything that Manuel talks about is like a poem. It's poetry, and you can just sit there and listen to him. And if you're sipping some of his wines, then you are in heaven.
Yeah, nice.
And this is how I also developed my love and my experience with Barranco Oscuro. That I said I need to show this to people. Nice. So somehow I was very proud of like bringing them to Berlin, and very proud to offer them in the wine tastings. And of course, for me, it was easy to work with them because in natural wine tastings, private tasting, every time I was pouring wines from Barranco Oscuro, people were like freaking out. They were impressed. What is this? What is that? So for me, it was like a joker also to work with. And then, of course, I was so proud of when I opened my wine bar to show people Barranco Oscuro, and I had most of the selection in my wine list because now I'm the one deciding how many wines I can have, so I want them all. And then I was really enjoying opening the wine, tasting people, like seeing how people enjoy with the wines. It's part of our job.
I think that also specifically on the reds, because you're right that they are making a huge amount of varieties, and this is also related to the geography where they are located. But many people has told me that there are no reds like the Barranco Oscuro reds in Berlin. These full body reds, really, really intense. So curious about how this varieto.
So yeah, now we move to red, and they are well known for really powerful red wines.
Exactly.
They are high in the mountains. The climate is really extreme. Super cold in winter, super hot in summer, and the imprint of the red wines from Barranco Oscuro is like they are powerful, long, super dry, super fruity. You can find everything, but I think with Varetúo you can see already with the color.
Yes.
It's a kind of new trend, or to make also lighter red wines. And I'm so happy because, I mean, whoever who knows me knows my taste, and I really love lighter red wines with a kind of animal touch, like funky and a little bit crazy. I love strong red wines, but my favorites are lighter. And this is Varetúo. It's a Tempranillo, which is of course one of the main varieties in Granada.
Oh my God.
Also 2019. I haven't tried this vintage yet, so I'm very happy to try. And again, it's been aged also in big barrels, but just to give a little touch, but they want to keep the primary essence, the primary aromas, which is the fruity flavors of a red wine, of a young red wine. And I think before this, I don't know, I will have to talk to Luisa and Lorenzo. It was BO2. That was one of the first, the house red wine from Barranco Oscuro. It was, I think, mainly Tempranillo, and it has like powerful character and strong and long. And now they are developing into something new, which is Varetúo. And
very curious to know, what do you feel? I mean, nose is,
of course, sweetness,
amazing.
freshness, sweetness. Wow. This is more important. Kind of a light perfumed, and the oak is so subtle.
It's very subtle. I see the yeast
somewhere in the back, but
no, it's not.
It's not there as a protagonist.
Wow.
Salud.
Salud, Pablo. Thank you again.
Yeah, this is definitely my type of red. Oh, wow, I'm very happy with the new vintage.
Wow.
This little fizziness is something I remember.
Oh my God, it's vibrating.
I remember years ago when I was working in Barcelona and I tried some red wines with this little fizziness in the beginning.
Wow.
And people were like, what is this? It's a sparkling red wine. I was like, no, it's not a sparkling red wine. It's, it's like a fermentation. There's a little second fermentation, and then it develops into some little bit fizziness that it disappears. But for me, it makes it so exciting and fresh.
Pure electricity.
And it's an explosion of fruitness and red fruits and.
It's fresh, but it's full body. Is combination of, fresh but character. That's.
This is also the perfect wine to drink by the glass, or even a party wine, because you don't need food to enjoy it. So it's very fresh and fruity, young, but it's also some complexity to be part of a nice meal.
Absolutely. It's perfectly balanced. It's fruity, but I mean the yeast notes at the end gives a complexity. I understand what you mean, that when you drink Barranco Oscuro, you know that you are drinking this.
There's always yeast note aftertaste in most of Barranco Oscuro wines that I personally love, and some of them even 1-2 days after, they are even like developing into like what the fuck, what is this? And people keep telling me, oh, how long can I keep this bottle open? So you can keep it in the fridge, close it, but don't worry, it's gonna be fine. Don't stress yourself. 2, 3, 4, 5 days. It's just like getting better and better. And this is a sign, of course, that the grapes, the vineyards, the work behind, it's really professional, it's really nice, and they work like in detail, minimally, with very good small quantities, small productions of any wine. Yeah. Every wine is treated in a very, very specific way, and they have a big, big variety, but every wine is totally different from the other, and that's why also they have a few amounts of bottles of each one, which makes it also special for me. No, a bit struggling when you have a shop or a bar and then you want to order more, it's gone. Then after a few months, can I order more of this? It's gone, and oh god. But I kind of learned that it's part of the game when you work with natural wine, that it lasts very short.
That's beautiful.
Because there's not much, and this is part of the beauty. But I really enjoy this Varetúo. And Varetúo, it's also the way they call Tempranillo in Granada. Because every name has a meaning, and so they decided to call it Varetúo. And of course, we will keep tasting the other wines you have from Barranco Oscuro. Today, we don't have so much time to try everything.
It was just an aperitif, but I would say, my God, the initial selection is absolutely amazing. I think that it was a wonderful session, Pablo. I think it was an honor to have you today with us. I think that it's clear that you feel the wines. It's clear that the wines have been part of you. I'm excited. So I can say that that's the starting point of a journey that I'm absolutely delighted to be.
Yeah, I'm giving you now the pleasure and the work responsibility to show Barranco Oscuro in Berlin. But I also wanted to just tell everyone, or people who knows me, who knows Naturales WeinBar, this is as a personal note to add, that I took a pause, like in German. I took a break for different circumstances, and of course because of Corona. And now with the new year, I'm getting it back. I'm getting the energy, the vibe, and the motivation, and the excitement to do more things, and of course together, collaborating as usual. But things might happen this 2021. We hope for the best, that we can create new things, and there might be maybe a new Naturales coming in which shape we still don't know, because let's see what the Corona allows us to do. But definitely, guys, you will enjoy Barranco Oscuro with Carlos, and hopefully with me, because I want to keep enjoying working with Barranco Oscuro and being part of the family. And I don't know, as I said, let's see how, in a bar, in events, in pop-ups, in tastings, but definitely I'm looking forward to new things happening.
Knowing Pablo, I'm sure that you will not be doing nothing. So looking forward the new projects, because I said Naturales had a very, very nice atmosphere, had nice wines. We have the wine here. We want to be part of the atmosphere. Thanks again, Pablo. Hopefully we will be enjoying Barranco Oscuro wines and your atmosphere very long. Thanks, and thanks to all of you. See you next time with a new episode.
See you all very soon, hopefully. Take care.
Ciao, ciao.